Unconventional choices, even more unconventional when it comes to art, are challenging but truly fulfilling. Speaking of them, here's the prologue, the how to my choices. There are some moments in everyone's life that one remembers even after an apocalypse. One such in my life was 7 July 2015, a dark auditorium with five solemn examiners, as if it was a life or death test. To me, it turned out to be a life changing one. I was appearing for the CCRT scholarship by the Indian Ministry of Culture, awarded to only 50 candidates across various fields nationally. Legends say that what you perform on stage is actually the 50% of what you practiced for. And in brutal honesty, I was a mere 20% of my expectations. Convinced of having lost the scholarship, I came back home in the evening and sat down to make things right with myself, what I had missed that morning. So, more than anything else, those 2 hours changed my life. More than that one interview, the later introspection became the North Star of my pursuit. I had given up all hope of the scholarship, but to my utter surprise, a few months later, the congratulating letter sat neatly in the mailbox. Well, lesson learned that sometimes your 20% is someone else's 80, and sometimes even your 100 may be someone else's 50. Well, I put the cart before the horse, so let me take you to where it all first started. 17 isn't a great age to narrate your journey since you're barely on the second rung of the ladder. All you can do is tell your story, and the reason I'm telling this story today is because unconventionalism needs to be talked about. For people out there making life choices to help them reinstate faith in their decisions, and for mentors and societies at large to normalize choices that might not give you a financial security or a high-end status at 25, but a satisfied sleep without any regrets, for sure. I represent the fifth generation of Gwalior Gharana, inherited from the lineage of late Pandit B.N. Kshirsagar. I've had the golden opportunity to be trained by my grandfather, Dr. D.B. Kshirsagar, and later my father, Pandit Deepak Kshirsagar. As grateful and blessed I am to have found a loving father or grandfather and a guru in one place, the truth is also that you do not get things laid on a platter. My parents have been my biggest supporters and critics, but nonetheless, it's always 200% the effort since you have a legacy behind and a whole new one to create ahead. To begin with, the epiphany that classical music enlivens my veins and just being in my blood occurred when I was barely 3. The surs that used to echo through the walls kept me hooked until they stopped. It has never been a profession or an entertainment to me. It is like the food to my soul. There are days when I go blank to the bruised world in front of me, or I phase out of the four walls of people around me. But never has a day dawned that this music made me directionless. That is the power of music. It gave me power over myself, power to a better vision. Many often ask me, why the classical music and not the playback industry? Addressing the why not, it is because I choose originality and authenticity over reimagined creativity and remixed melody. No offense meant, but I will always choose the power to create this art over an opportunity to add music or a tune to someone else's lyrics or ideas. In the industry, music provides support to the dramatization, while in classical music, we fill a void, we fill spaces in our existence. Portraying that with an example, take a very popular song. रुक जाओ दिल दीवाने पूछूं तो मैं जरा लड़की है या है जादू खुशबू है या नशा. Or from a different genre perhaps. जो बरसे सपने बूंदे बूंदे सपनों को मूंद मूंद कैसे मैं चलूं देख ना सको अनजाने रास्ते. This is absolutely beautiful, but the scope of improvisation and imagination is limited. Now contrasting that with classical music. आवो बलमा दरस दिन मोरा जी घबरा आवो गरे सा नि रे सा नि गरे सा पम गरे सा नि दा पम द रे गरे नि रे सा आवो. You can go as endless and infinite as possible, and every time the uniqueness remains yours. While delving deep from a professional perspective, today, unfortunately, Indian music is perceived as a difficult to achieve, unapproachable, and irrelevant art in the mindset of an average Indian, until told otherwise. A little hope here is that very few are willing to tell the otherwise, willing to affirm that it is worth it, just unrecognized and unacknowledged. Circling back to tough decisions, as if one unconventional choice wasn't enough, I made two. While finding my way deeper into music, I stumbled upon my continued longing for writing and literature. It's only fair to say that I would not have the same connect with music had it not been for writing. And honestly, I didn't start writing to express better or empty the chaos within. I did because I believe in its profound influence. A single drop of ink can make millions think. Initially, my dear ones and I were skeptical, since it's a Herculean task to choose one career and earn expertise and livelihood in that, let alone in two totally different paradigms. And apart from that, we are talking about arts that even renowned vocalists like Pandit Ajay Chakravarti or Pandit Bhimsen Joshi spent their lifetimes striving for. Quite legit the apprehensions. But time answered that dilemma for me. It was no longer an either-or choice. My roads were no longer diverged. I had blended them and paved them into one. I consider myself a sum of experiences that art allowed me to gain. These fields are endless processes that age gracefully with time and experience. And in here, there are no shortcuts, no plan Bs, except one, riyaz, or practice. Practice that demands sleepless nights, 5 a.m. mornings, sacrifices, and innumerable hours of training. When stepping out in this niche, there have been occasions, and there will be more, where your expectations of delivering the art are met by people awaiting mere entertainment. You have to take these rejections and pitfalls in stride and work on them till you get better. But there are also times where one is so numb on the inside that the tanpura is just 4 metal strings and woods, or sometimes your emotions are too bloody for your paper. But times like this determine who you truly are. These times decide if you will burn into ashes or vanish into thin air, or you'll shine like gold when tested by fire. Standing before you, all I'll have to say is that sometimes you would not have it any other way than by taking the road less traveled. And lastly, I'll share my father's words. Practice until it hurts and keep practicing until it doesn't. And that, I think, will sum up my life.